everybody, and welcome back to CWK Live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zare, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Well, it's great to see all of you here. Let me try to clean up the video. I feel like it's a little grainy. I want to try to, maybe I can fix that. What's up, everybody? Good to see all of you. Let's bring in our friends. Minta is here. This is the way. It's CWK Day. Hello, Minta. There is Daniel. Here we go. Daniel, great to see you, buddy. Mary is here. Happy Tuesday, also known as Andor Eve. Everyone, I want it officially known that Mary coined Andor Eve, and I like that. Josh, hello to you, my friend. Congratulations. I believe you have 200 episodes of your podcast now. Congratulations to you on that. That's amazing. Blake, good to see you, buddy. And Ross is here too. Hello, Ross. Well, tonight we're going to talk all about the latest episode of Andor. It is the Axe Forgets. 400. 400. Sorry, my friend. 400. So I forgot to multiply the 200 by 2. I'm just going to go with that. And also, I can't remember numbers to save my life. It's a wonder I even know my own phone number, honestly. Josh, you can ask my wife. Tonight we're going to talk about the top 5 moments from the newest episode of Andor, the Axe Forgets. Well, it's only the newest until tomorrow. Any Star Wars news that is out there. And, of course, your comments and questions. So let's take a look at what's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. So what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week? Well, New York Comic Con was, of course, last weekend. And there was some pretty cool stuff in here, I believe, that talked about different things that are coming out book-wise from the world of... Well, first of all, here's the big announcements, and this is all courtesy of Dan Brooks and StarWars.com. I think the biggest news for me is Rise of the Red Blade, an Inquisitor novel. Now, this is coming out, let's see, let me get the direct date. First of all, it's Delilah S. Dawson, who we very much know as fans of Star Wars. This is about the story of Iskat, I-S-K-A-T. I'm not sure if that's the actual pronunciation. Iskat is a Jedi survivor of Order 66 that turns to the dark side, joining the Inquisitors with the hope of uncovering the truth about her past. Iskat's hunt begins when Rise of the Red Blaze arrives in 2023, and that's all we know so far. What else do we have? We've got Santa Staros. She's going to have her own Marvel miniseries. And she's got a complicated history with both Han and Afra. And she's going to have a comic written by Justina Ireland, and it's coming out in February 2023. Then we've got another series it's called Star Wars Revelations, and this is the description on StarWars.com. Marvel's upcoming landmark one-shot promises to chart a course for the future of Star Wars comics. There's 4 new covers, which you should check out on StarWars.com, which are really stunning. You've got Peach Momoko, Brian Hitch, Alex Sinclair, Jim Chung, and Casper Wingard, all featuring different characters. You've got a cover of Vader with some sort of spider creature on his head. I probably should know who that is, but I'm kind of way behind on my Star Wars comic book reading. You've got the famous bounty hunters from Empire. You've got Afra, and you've got Vader dueling someone with a red. Who is he dueling in that? I can't tell who that is. Let me get a close up. Oh, I think that is one of Padme's peeps, I believe. And then Marvel's February 2023 Star Wars comics is Vader versus Valance, which is going to be really cool. Valance is a great character. Baylord Valance is his first name. And then Star Wars: The High Republic Chronicles of the Jedi. It's an in-universe guide. It's written by Cole Horton. There's a number of spreads that are featured on StarWars.com. And then Star Wars: The High Republic, the Lightsaber Collection is coming your way, which is pretty cool. I really like that a lot. There's Kristen Baver's got an upcoming Star Wars 100 Objects book. And this has a Yoda Blissel, B-L-I-S-S-L, a pipe instrument he can be seen wearing in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Well, how about that? And then Star Wars Timelines is coming out, according to this, February 7th, 2023. This is a book that is going to be massive. A lot of great writers on it, including our good buddy Clayton Sandell. So we're really looking forward to that. So that, to me, is the big news that's coming out this week. There's a number of High Republic news as well. If you're interested in the High Republic series, and many of you are, that would be a cool thing for you to check out. Okay, so let's see. Josh wants to know, did anyone go to NYCC? Let's see. One of our regulars is here usually. Was at NYCC. And I don't see him here today, but if he comes in later, I'm sure we'll chat with him. Oh, here he is. Ben, weren't you at NYCC, buddy? I thought you were. Jason says, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late to the party. Got stuck in traffic on the way over. Hey, man. Glad you made it safe. Keep both those hands on the wheel, buddy. It's good to see you here. Daniel says, loves the High Republic novel so far. Just finished the second book. Oh, great. Yeah, they're awesome. Yes, Ben was at NYCC. Well, Ben, what was it like? I know you got to see Kristen Baver. You got to meet her. Is that your first time meeting Kristen? She's awesome. So that was fun. What other highlights were there for you? Maybe we'll do a new section called Ask Ben at the end instead of Ask Dancy, because I would like to know. While Ben is salivating over that, let's go ahead and jump into our topic to the show. The topic, of course, for tonight is top 5 moments from Andor. The Axe Forgets. This is the 5th episode in season 1. An episode I really truly enjoyed. You probably heard this week on Coffee with Kenobi. I had Drew Taylor on, and the two of us really we poured over, pardon the Coffee with Kenobi Alliance plug. We really looked at the Axe Forgets and sort of what's going on with this episode. So now it's time for us to really break it down together with our top 5 moments. Now, before we get to that, I do want to bring something up I haven't in a while. Don't forget, and I have checked. I checked it earlier today. There are still a couple of rooms left for the Star Cruiser event with me, Coffee with Kenobi, and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel next summer, June 12th to the 14th. If you book, be sure to go ahead and go to coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. Let them know that you are with me, Dan Zare, and the Coffee with Kenobi group, and they will do their best to try to put us all together. So fingers crossed that you're able to do that and join us. I know a lot of people aren't able to go to Celebration next year, but this might be a little bit more plausible for you. Hoping we can all see you there. Mason's going to be there. It's actually going to be his 10th birthday on June 12th, which is pretty fun. So we're going to all celebrate with him there. And then I'm bringing Corey Clubb and Tom Gross with me, and a number of our CWK Alliance members are going to join us. So that's really great. Mary said she always enjoys listening to Drew's viewpoints. That's really cool. I will certainly pass that along to Drew if he doesn't listen to the show or watch the show. Definitely do that. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's do our top 5s for The Axe Forgets, the 5th episode in Andor. The 5th one for me is, let's just get it out of the way, cereal. The cereal, I mean, look, there is something to that. Actually, there is. I'm going to talk about that in my next one, actually. But I just wanted to point out the fact that they're eating cereal that everyone is dying to try, and they're using blue milk. And it was just so fun and in-world and also out-of-world. And I got a big kick out of that. So, of course, yeah, cereal. Let's get the silly one out of the way. Ben says, it was fantastic. New York Comic-Con reporter Ben Anderson says, Kristen interviewed me and my friend for Stars.com. Dude, so you may see me there. The High Republic panel was also fantastic. I met all the authors, got autographs, and I got a few fun collectibles. Also bought Path of Deceit. Well, dude, that's great. I can't wait to see you on Stars.com. Look at you, Rockstar. Fantastic. Let's do some applause for Ben, too. Nice job, brother. Appreciate that. Love it. Love it. Good job. Josh is number 5, an actual example of eminent domain with the government taking private property to create a lake. Look at that. I mean, this series has got to be giving you so much material, Josh. So that's great. Minta's number 5 is Mon Mothma's child. I was unaware that she had a child. It was easy to see that she took after her father. Yes, that's just a mess, isn't it? Ross says number 5, Maroon fruit in the basket of cereal's dining table. Wasn't that a cool touch? I don't know that it looked real, but it was just cool that it was there. So yeah, good catch. Mary's number 5, like mine, space cereal. I'm so excited I can't talk. With blue milk. The scenes with Cyril and his mother were quite interesting. Yes, they were. Jason, Star Wars breakfast cereal is my honorable mention. Awesome. Daniel's number 5 is Syrah and the scene with his mom. The cereal, looking forward to seeing what his story develops into. Who is this uncle? Yeah, and will we even meet this uncle? Interesting question. Jason's number 5 is the escalating tension and suspense of the start of the mission. Ooh, that's true. Yeah, this whole thing, I heard some criticism. And all criticism is fair as long as it's intelligently done and open-minded. And I feel like that is totally it, because that's real criticism. Is they thought it was a little slow or that nothing happened, but I feel like it's just the calm before the storm. I feel like this next episode's going to be crazy exciting. So we'll see. But I like the build-up. Ben's number 5 is the line for the episode. The tree remembers, but the axe forgets. I've already heard it used once this week. Really? Good. Yeah, I think that is a really smart line that Drew and I talk about a lot in Coffee with Kenobi this week. Mary says, Daniel, she had the same question about the uncle. Yeah, wouldn't it be interesting if we meet the uncle later? Will it be Uncle Ben? Related to Peter? Doubt it. Speaking of that, I've got quite an interview coming your way very soon that I'm excited to share. All right, that's a little bit of a very ambiguous tease. Let's go ahead and jump into number 4. Number 4 for me is Cyril's plight. So Cyril is eating cereal with his mother. And it's really interesting why now you kind of get a little bit of a window into why Cyril feels like he's got so much to prove, why he was so adamant. He certainly seeks justice, and he very much believes in that. But you see how his mother oppresses him even now as an adult when he's sitting in his room kind of wistfully with his neatly made bed and just very, very sad. It's very emotional sequence. He just seems very lonely, and he's got a really toxic relationship with his mother, and it's interesting. Again, all these characters are really being drawn out. They're not just this isn't just an imperial mustache twitching baddie. There's more to Cyril, and we're going to see more about that very soon. Hopefully. Number 4 for Josh. Examples of trespass to chattels. Skeen rummaging through Andor's personal possessions. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff there as well. Interesting dynamic with this sort of dirty dozen, even though there's not 12 of them situation. Mita cereal is number 4. Who doesn't love breakfast for dinner? Now I just need to find that cereal and some blue milk at my local grocery store. I hope we get some. I know there's a great recipe on stars.com for cereal bars, but I want that exact cereal, of course. Ben's number 4. Cyril's 2 bedroom scenes. The first has the light shining in and he's sad, like he's struggling to find the light in his life. Then the second scene is dark. He's ominously staring at Cassian's holograph. Chef's kiss. Ben, that is a good catch, dude. Really smart. Ross, number 4, Skeen's prison tattoos. Crate head and by the hand are known to Cassian, but we're still in the dark and I don't trust Skeen. And I thought, uh-oh. When I saw something like, oh, Ross is getting a new tattoo. Pretty fun. It's pretty cool, like how it shows, like, you can tell a lot in World just through a subtle little line like that. It's really smart exposition, I think. Number 4 for Mary. The breakfast scene with Mon and the family. We've already seen her husband as a jerk. Now we find out the daughter is a brat. Guess she takes after the dad, so appreciate the support. Comment was very sad. Yeah, and you just kind of feel like, often with kids in that kind of pain, there's more to the story. I hope we learn what that is. Number 4 for Jason. The pace of oppression outstrips our ability to understand it. Nemec, I think that's right quote. I think it is too. I have to check my notes, which I don't have here, which is not really fortuitous of me. But yeah, that's a good quote, and I think it's really interesting. A lot of good quotes in this episode. Number 4 for Daniel. A bit more ship time in the episode. TIE fighter flybys and the shuttle leaving. I love where they filmed in the cinematography as well. Yeah, the TIE fighter flyby, the one that goes really, really, kind of really slow and really low. Again, the way they're building up the danger of the Empire without showing us a lot of Imperial stuff. Pretty cool. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3 for me. Deidre's on the case. So we only see her in one scene. But I really think this is smart. Because again, like we talked about from the previous episode with the Empire, this one is important because Deidre is obviously a much more serious character, or at least taken more seriously. She's on the ISB. She's a high up with the ISB. And she's trying to sniff out what she thinks are connections to perhaps a growing group of people that want to fight back against the Empire. And she says, if this were me, this is how I would do it. Because her partner says it's too random. Or he says it's just too random to be organized. And she says, or it's too random to be random. And I just think that's another really cool thing that they're doing with this story. Because, well, actually, Ross is going to bring it up later as I'll quote his in a second. But I think this is important because, again, while we're not rooting for the Empire, it's hard not to root for Daedra. And I just think that's great because it's causing a lot of conflict both on screen and for us as viewers. Well, of course, we want Cassian to win. We've seen Rogue One. We know that he wins, or we assume that he wins. At least he's going to survive anyway. But we don't know about the rest of his team. And then conversely, we're rooting for Daedra. Not really rooting for her, but we appreciate her hard work, her grit, her determination, and it just makes her human. And making Imperials human so far has been a really smart way to tell this story, I think. Okay, let's see what other people have here. Josh is 3. Actually care for the villains with seeing an overbearing mother say to her adult son, you have no future prospects. Yeah, the overbearing mother, the toxic relationship there, makes you kind of start to understand Cyril. Again, while you don't support what he's doing, you can understand why he feels so conflicted and pained. Ross is 3. Hurt, saying to Deidre, it's too random to be random, about the small insurgencies, thefts around the galaxy. Yep, very similar to my number 3, but Ross had the correct name there, so I appreciate that. Jason 3. So interesting that the healthiest relationship in this episode is one between Daedra and her aide, and technically they're the bad guys. Right. They're humanizing the Empire, but in there's other perspectives here. I think that's important, right? Whenever you push everyone together because they're on one side or another, that they're all hive-minded, that's not true. It's just not true. And it's kind of neat that they're showing us different sides of things. Mary says, the axe forgets but the tree remembers. Both this scene and the scene a little later with Nemec give us more insight of this crew. A very smart title. Mita Daedra following up on the case. Looks like a lot of us really like Daedra and put it up there. Number 3 for Ben. Mon Mothma's daughter. Cool reveal, but she's obviously in on the anger against Mom too. She may become a hero of the rebellion, but she doesn't seem like the hero at home right now. Nope, seems like there's a lot of problems there. And some of it might be Mon Mothma putting work first, but we understand why it's so important. Daniel, we finally get a good look into the garrison versus the model. It was nice to see the real thing, and I felt like part of the crew knowing already. Yeah, you've got some great detail there, don't you? Josh, the Cyril needs a good group of friends to help make better life choices. Exactly. He could join us in the CWK cafe. We'd certainly save a spot for him as long as he brought cereal and no Imperial baggage. That would be fine. I think that would be fine. We're a very welcoming group. Let's look at number 2. Skeen and Cassian. So there are a number of conversations these two characters have, and the intensity escalates a little bit with every scene. And towards the end, when he has a knife to Cassian to his throat and takes that blue kyber crystal, and Cassian has this wonderful speech, like, if you want out of this, don't blame me. He's starting to see part of the reason why Skeen is the way he is. He eventually, when his apology actually, I think, is really great too, and explaining his brother and why he hates the Empire, and it's hard for him to trust a man who's only in it for mysterious reasons or perhaps even financial reasons. But this is just realistic, I think. I mean, I've not been in that situation naturally, but I feel like the way they're going out of their way to explain motivation and honest human psychology about Cassian understanding, no, this is why you're all mad or why you don't trust me. So don't use me as your scapegoat. I just really like that a lot. 2 for Josh. Too random to be random. Characters actually putting pieces together. Tons of Easter eggs. Was a reference to Kessel about the events in Solo or Rebels? I mean, that's how I took it. That's what I'm hoping. Jason's 2. Lots of surprises in the episode, especially the revelation that the Rebels don't know how to release the ship they're going to steal and the toxicity between Cyril and Edie Karn. Yep, Edie is the mother. So thank you for posting that name. Yeah, a lot of surprises. Man, I'm so excited for tomorrow. You guys are getting me so excited for tomorrow. Let's see. Mita says, quote, too random to be random, which is a great, we're in the know. We're like, ooh, I know why. Josh says, I don't even want to estimate what the Sky Kyber will be a necklace for sale. Oh, I'm sure her universe or somebody is working on it, you'd think. Ben, quote, that's the closest thing to an apology you're going to get. Everyone has a story linking them to the cause. Yes. And I was surprised that Cassian shared as much as he did. Of course, there's more, but we'll see. Ross is too Luthen getting nervous from afar. If he's that anxious, you know how big it is for the big picture of the rebellion, because all we've seen is him being really cool and really focused. But he's also human. I think that's important. Daniel's number 2 is Clem's admission of being there for payment. It shows that Cassian has a conscience and knowing they all need to be on the level to pull it off. So yeah, he's revealing a lot of honesty here. Maybe more than he has to other people in a while, as far as the level of allowing himself to be vulnerable. Mary's number 2, the evening before the heist, as the crew prepares. Seems like they have an uneasy truce between them and all in order to get the job done. Well said. Yeah, and it's great. I think that's just a perfect. See, that's why I like that kind of this one and the one before sort of build up to the next episode, hopefully, because I don't know, when there's more put into it, there's more cost, there's more risk, and there's more excitement. And I think that's going to make for a great story. But it's time for number 1. The axe forgets number 1 for me, and we'll get to yours here in just a second, is Lieutenant Gorn's duality. We haven't mentioned him yet, but I really like all the scenes with him and how he works with the Empire. He's obviously in charge as a lieutenant. He doesn't like the Empire, does not support them. He's hoping to take them down. And the fact that he's able to act like this when we find out why he hates the Empire the way that he does, I just really find him intriguing. All these characters are really intriguing. They're just much more complex. I feel like we throw the word complex around a lot. There really aren't a ton of incredibly complex characters in Star Wars, but we've got a lot of them in this episode. And that's cool. And they don't all have to be complex, by the way. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, we all love these characters for many different reasons. But complexity is, when a character is well-rounded or dynamic, it means they don't just have one personality trait or one arc. They've got several things that make them tick, and they learn and grow as the story progresses instead of just staying the same all the time. And I think that's why all these characters are interesting, both good and bad. Let's see. One for Josh. Cassian openly questioning the fact that Vale did not have a plan for weighing the payroll. We see him take charge and not simply go through the motions of a plan. Excellent. Ross is number 1. Cassian / Clem admitting he's getting paid and that's why he's there. It rattles the entire team, but it was the right thing to do in that circumstance. Yeah, the honesty. I mean, you may not like what he said, but you're honest, so that's important. Minta's 1. Cassian explaining that just because you're brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. You just don't run from it. Yeah, I like his dialogue at the end there. It's almost like a monologue. It's really great. Jason's 1. There's a difference between fear and losing your nerve. Again, right from that last speech, which is so powerful. Ben's 1. The final scene of the episode with Luthen and his aide. Seems like she has more authority than we were first led to believe. Those final words about whether this is the end of the beginning. We have to feel like this one will be one of the first major activities that propels the rebellion forward. And I feel like we've got so many firsts with Solo and with Rebels and other things. So, yeah, it's great to see where this all ties in. Ben's number 1 is Cassian comes clean about why he's there. He's a complex character that we debate as to whether he's a hero, but he shows he has a critical quality of a hero. Honesty, yes, and his psychology really, he's rallying them together. He's bringing them, he's showing leadership qualities. And I think the most important part, I feel like the greatest leaders don't necessarily want to be in charge. They don't want the limelight. They have a vision. I feel like Captain America falls in that quality, or that category, and I feel like Cassian is showing that here as well. Daniel's on 1. Daedra and her discussing the patterns they were seeing. I love Daedra and her dedication in cutting a true rebel within the Empire. I know, it'll be interesting to see what happens with her. It'll be interesting to see what happens with all of these characters, quite honestly. Well, I think that's it. I think I got everybody who weighed in. Your next episode, Andor's episode 6, comes out tomorrow, Wednesday, October 12th. And that means next Tuesday, we're going to give our top 5 moments from Andor episode 6. Ben was thinking Captain America too. That's fun. Josh says, good analysis, everyone. I agree. This was really great. These, it's so helpful for me to process these and think about them as I'm preparing for the show and in Coffee with Kenobi. And hearing your feedback makes me think about things differently and emphasize things that I think are really important that I don't ever think about, or just I don't kind of cross my mind at the time. So I appreciate you opening my mind to these different perspectives. It's so cool. Ross says, honorable mention Zero's Black Series Stormtrooper in his bedroom. But yeah, that's certainly what it looked like to me too. Mary says, hard to believe it's the halfway point already with Andor. Wow. Isn't that something? It is the halfway point. That is wild. All right. Let's jump into Ask Dan Z. Ben's honorable mention was the lieutenant. Well, okay, well, again, I think this should be Ask Ben. Ben, what was it like meeting Kristen? And how did you end up on the StarWars.com segment? I can't wait to see that. I'm assuming that will be in this Week in Star Wars, but I guess we'll find out. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that, Ben. I'm looking forward to chatting with all of you about Andor. And soon enough, we're getting Tales of the Jedi. Man, that's going to be tricky. How am I going to cover that and do a top 5? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to save the top 5 of that for when Andor's done. Golly. This is a good... Again, our cup runneth over. Start covering Star Wars these days. Kind of reminds me of being a teacher. It's like feast or famine. Although we're not really getting much famine when it comes to Star Wars. But in the summertime, I don't teach, but I've got all this stuff with Coffee with Kenobi and StarWars.com. And then, during the school year, it's like a massive feast of all kinds of things to do. So now we're getting that with Star Wars and all this stuff on Disney Plus. What a great problem to have. Have I watched Ring of Power yet? No. But a writer I really respect just told me the other day that I really need to watch it. Everybody else says it's great, so I need to. Daniel says, I love how slow this series is so far. So many details are able to be revealed. I know, it's going to be great to kind of plot it out like real history. Mary says, did you see the prices were raised today at Disney Parks for Savvy's and Droid Depot? I did see that, Mary, and I must admit I do lament that a little bit. I feel like it went up to $250 for a lightsaber at Savvy's workshop. So that's rough. I mean, that experience is wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's my favorite thing at Galaxy's Edge, but that's a lot of money. So that definitely will give some people pause. So who knows? What's the next con we can expect? Any big Star Wars news from? I feel all the big ones have passed. I don't know. I mean, Celebration's coming out in, what is it, next April? April or March or April? Whatever my spring break is, fortunately. So that's my immediate guess, but you never know when news will pop up. Ben said, after I bought Path of Deceit, Justin and Tessa were doing a book signing. After a nice chat with them both, Kristen was off to the side grabbing people at random to do interviews, and she grabbed us. She was nice in person as she is everywhere else we see her. Yes, she is the real deal. She's a cool person. She's awesome. So I'm glad you got that. Mary says, before Texas. I know. So if they make a new, I thought they said at Celebration earlier this year in Anaheim, they're going to come out with new models and new hilts. So that's tempting, but yeah, it's tough. That's certainly a lot to ask, and I understand kind of why some people would hesitate. That's totally fair. All right, well, if you are listening to this on the feed, this is just the first half of the show. The second half of the show, I don't have video of it, but I'm going to drop the audio of my conversation with the Star Wars team at Hasbro. I did it in the middle of last week, so I've got the audio of that I'm going to insert into the second half of this show. So if you watch the show live with me, thank you so much for joining me. It means the world to me that you take time out of your busy schedule during the week to join me. So if you listen to the audio of this on all of your podcast catchers, you're going to hear my interview with the team at Hasbro and a couple of other content creators as well, talking about the Black Series and a lot of things that I think you'll find really interesting as a Star Wars collector. Josh says WonderCon might be a place for announcement. That's very possible. He's also looking for the Hasbro convoy. Yeah, I think you will dig it. Mary, have a great week. I hope all of you have a great week. I can't tell you again how much I appreciate you joining me and supporting me. It's awesome. Another way you can support me is becoming a member of the CWK Alliance. You get access to exclusive weekly video and audio content. And it's also a way for you to give back to me and help me live this amazing Star Wars life that I'm fortunate to have because of each and every one of you. Don't forget, again, if you are interested in going on a Star Cruiser, why not go with me and MBI and Mouse Fan Travel this summer 2023 from June 12th to June 14th. Love it. Ben, great to see you tonight. Thanks for listening to me about Comic-Con. I was excited to share that experience. Well, I appreciate you sharing it, man. Daniel says, see you out there. Love that. I love that. Blake, we love you too, buddy. Ross, have a wonderful week and hope we're all blown away by tomorrow's Andor. I hope so too. Be well. Jason says, fun tonight as always. Love all the great insights and thoughts here. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you, Jason. Hope you all have a great week. I will see you next time. Looking forward to it. And remember, this is the podcast, the live podcast you are looking for. See you soon.